I'm Susan Gerard, and I'm the president and CEO of the Mississippi Children's Museum. And we have some wonderful questions from children and friends across the state. And Dr. Buttross has been so gracious to join us this morning to answer those questions.
I'm Dr. Susan Buttross. I'm a developmental and behavioral pediatrician at the University of Mississippi Medical Center, and I'm spokesperson for the American Academy of Pediatrics.
It is a great honor to welcome you to the Mississippi Children's Museum today.
Thank you, Susan.
I'm going to get started right away.
I have heard that from my grandchildren too. Okay, remember, this is not yet summer vacation. This is having to do school at home. So pretend like you are still in school. If you were in school, you would be working probably about 6 hours a day on schoolwork. Now, I think the teachers are all trying not to pile that much work on you, but there's some important things that you have to learn to be able to go to the next grade. And so we don't want to lose this school year. So it's really important to remember that the schoolwork that you're given you need to do. Now, don't forget, if it's hard, it's okay to stop and ask for help. That help might be from your parent, or it might be from your big sister or brother. And I think that there are also ways that you can get online and ask questions. So schoolwork's important. It is work. But if you can make yourself try to think of it as more how fun it is to learn, maybe it'll make it easier. The good thing about doing work at home is you can get up and take breaks as often as you need to. So maybe set a timer and you work for 15 minutes and you take a break, or work for 30 minutes and you take a 15-minute break. That's a good thing. The other thing you can do is stand up while you're doing your work. Some kids like that better. You can move around and jump around and still do the work. So there are lots of creative things you can do at home with schoolwork. Give it a try.
My name is Molly Howell. I want to know when I'm going to have a play date.
Oh, Molly, one thing that I have said myself is I just wish I could go hug my best friend again, and I can't right now, and that's hard, isn't it? So play dates are so important because it makes you just feel happy, right? But here's what you can do. You can Skype your friend, you can FaceTime your friend, you can phone call them. You could get your parents to set up Zoom. That's a fun way to get to visit with maybe more than one friend. So there are lots of things that you can do like that. Maybe it's not quite the same and quite as good, but goodness, I think you can probably set up on FaceTime with your friend and show them everything that you're doing, and y'all can take turns going back. So don't forget about that. We're real lucky that we have the technology now to be able to visit people, even though we can't run up and give them a hug. You can give them a virtual hug like I do to my grandchildren and my good friends. I just go, I'm hugging you now, hug me back, and they do. So think about that.
Dr. Buttross, tell us a little bit for families who are struggling with this new reality of being home and doing online schooling and trying to work. Can you tell us the importance of maybe establishing a schedule and what a schedule might look like?
When we have a day off on a weekend, then often we let the schedule go, right? You don't worry about when you get up, you don't worry about when you get dressed, you may stay in your pajamas until noon. That's okay for a day or two. The problem is when you get out of schedule and have no routine, it, after a while, can feel very chaotic and unsettling. It also can be very difficult to get anything done when you're supposed to be getting something done, like work, at home, like school at home, like even cleaning the house or doing just basic chores. So the biggest recommendation I can give any family is to establish a schedule. Make that routine. I usually think it's a good idea to put it in chart form so that everybody has a visual of what to do. So you get up about the same time every day. You get dressed, you eat breakfast, you set up a work schedule, you do all of those typical things, and you have basically a time schedule for them too. So it's really important to try to make yourself establish that so you don't feel unsettled. The other thing that I want to remind everybody about is it's okay if you get a little bit frustrated. When you are trying to work and have your child do schoolwork and also take care of the household and cook meals, I can keep going. There are lots of things that get stacked upon the stack. Is cut yourself some slack. It's okay if you don't have the perfect meal. It's okay if the house isn't spotless. It's not okay, though, if you find yourself losing patience because everything's not done in the order in which you think it should be. So, one of the best things you can do when you feel like you're getting overwhelmed, or if your child feels like he or she is getting overwhelmed, is to either give yourself or give your child a timeout. And I don't mean in a punishment way, but to say, okay, I need to step back. I'm a little frustrated here. So I'm going to step outside. I'm going to walk around for a few minutes, and I'm going to calm myself down. Then I can come back and start over. The same thing for any child who seems to be a little bit on edge. It's okay. Say, I think you need a hug. I think you need to step back. Why don't you go outside? Or why don't you take time and go in the other room and just do something that makes you feel better? I think many times that our children are feeding on us. And so what you need to do is remember, you need to stay calm and allow yourself to take a break when you need to take that break.
That was great. Thank you, Susan. That was a good reminder for us all. Ask a follow-up question. For families that are staying home and they are trying to stay on those schedules and things don't go exactly as they planned, and we do have to take some breaks, and they have siblings at home, are there tips to resolve conflict between children and some other tips how to keep yourself grounded and not lose patience so that we can make sure our children stay safe and mentally healthy through this ordeal?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and something that I would dare say most people are struggling with. You know, you can really love somebody a whole lot, and after a while of that 24/7 togetherness, you can start not liking a lot. So the very first thing is to remind yourself to cut each other slack. That means parents to children and children to children. So it may be that it seems like one of the children is having a little bit more trouble with moodiness or fussing or seeming to be the instigator causing trouble, and it's kind of new. Think about that. What we always say in behavioral pediatrics is mad is often sad. So a child who starts getting angry a lot, typically that child is feeling sad or anxious. And so the best thing you can do is pull them aside, give them a little bit more isolated time of their own. Let them know that you understand that they feel angry and probably sad that they can't do what they've normally done. And allow them to talk about it. Say it's okay to talk about it, but it's not okay to be mean. It's not okay to be nice, not nice to anybody else. And so remember, everybody else is going through the same thing. But sometimes that extra hug, sometimes that walk outside, a little nature walk with them can be so helpful and make such a difference in the way they ultimately feel. The same thing goes for yourself. And there are lots of wonderful techniques that you can use to calm everybody. And one of my new favorites is called the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. And it's where you either go outside or you sit inside and make yourself identify 5 things that you can see, 4 things that you can touch, 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. And step all the way through that very slowly, going through each one of those things and talking about them out loud and feeling the things and listening for the things. And you know what? When you do that, what happens? You can't think about anything else, any of the bad stuff, because you're thinking about all those different things you can see and hear and taste and smell. So try that technique for yourself or for your child, and maybe you'll see a difference there too in your ability to calm.
We are so grateful to Dr. Buttross for sharing your expertise and for being such a friend of the Mississippi Children's Museum. I know that we both have such hopes for our children here in Mississippi, and we are very grateful for your time and expertise. Thank you, Dr. Buttross.
Thank you so much, and thank you for what Children's Museum has done for all our children. And we'll be back here soon, all playing together.
Absolutely.